Welcome, punters, to another episode of the Whispers Racing Podcast. As always, I'm joined by Matty. How are you, Matty?
Going well, Wim. How are you, mate?
Going well. We're starting off in off-peak racing, as you could almost say. And, I look forward to off-peak racing.
Look, we say that every time this year, not the best races going around. Someone's got to win them. We'll hopefully find them. But what we like to do at this time of year is start to keep an eye on some of these races for the spring and next year's autumn as well.
Yeah, well, we've still got Adelaide Carnival coming up, which will be a belter. And then we'll go into Brisbane. So there's plenty of those we'll dissect. But, yeah, there's just that little lull period now of just lower class racing. But, hey, as you said, there's horses to find and horses to fill our pockets up. So we will do that. This episode we will do Mornington Race 7, which is the Hariba, the Sprint, and Hawksbury Race 7, the Guineas. Bets around the grounds, the multis, the pineapples. Last week we got the pineapples, so Matty holds on for a third week. I reckon we might be looking for a record here, so pressure's on. Multi $3.
What a cracking week it is for going for the record.
You do find some stinkers meetings to do it, mate. And I do love it when I'm not involved. Multi, it was short, but we got it $3.50. Hey, it's a winner. Bets around the grounds. Matty found Valana. I found El Patroness. And there was another one that slipped my mind. And
I think Brisbane, El Beer ran a place.
Yeah,
which we
ran a place. So it was a good effort from the podcast. So we're finding them quite well. So hopefully we can go 3 weeks in a row and, yeah, we fill our pockets up again. Talking points this week. We'll talk about the elephant in the room and the Princess Jenny ride. Was that some interesting tactics, we'll say. My thoughts is I think a lot of people know the story around it. The owner was sitting on the couch, sent a text message to the camp telling him how he thinks it should be ridden, so they went with it. So in saying all that, no disrespect to the guy, but it's not the 80s and 90s where owners had a lot more say back then. And it's really changed now because these big camps have form analysts right behind them. They're even smarter than they used to be. So you've just got to trust these big camps to make the right decisions. And to send a text message off your couch to say, hey, I want it ridden is, I think, just disgusting. I'm surprised they didn't say, nah, we're not doing it. But this owner has track records of pulling horses away from trainers for not listening. So, mate, I think you should just turn your phone off and not push send next time and leave it up to the big wigs. Matty, your thoughts?
Oh, mate, I saw it come out the next day in terms of it beat the cleaner's record when the cleaner in the Cox Plate was 21 lengths better than benchmark at the 800-metre mark. And Pride of Jenny was 24 lengths better than benchmark at the 800-metre mark on a soft track.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, I think the numbers that I like to look at definitely do the talking. Look, I mean, it's the owner's prerogative. They're paying the bills. So I think if they've got a view, share it. But, end of the day, the trainers and their teams are exceptional at what they do, especially this particular camp.
Yeah, 100%, mate. That's a Friday night conversation to work out what we're going to do, speed maps in front of you, all the data that they use, and come to an agreement. Now, I'm not disgusted by the tactics, as in running not that fast, but obviously a little bit slower, because at the 100-metre mark, she was still in the race. She was just dropping off. So I think if they actually had a Timmy Clark on board who judges good paces, I think the tactics are there to win races. But I just think Regan Bayless, no disrespect to him, he's riding beautifully, but he's not really a front runner jockey that I would be picking. So just something for them to look at. I think this horse can win a lot of races if it's not cooked from that race. he can win some big races if they can get their tactics 100% right.
Yeah, it's a fair call. It wasn't far off. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely not all thumbs down to the owner. He was on the right path.
Yeah.
He probably just needed a little bit more tact.
Yeah, 100%. I just feel for the punters not knowing the tactics were going to be that. And that's another story in front of a campfire, maybe. Last talking point. I think this is a good topic. And if anyone watching, let us know your thoughts where you would go with this. Now, Matty, if someone gave you a 10% free share in these three horses,
yep,
which one would you take? Now, Giga Kick, I Wish I Win, or Amelia's Jewel?
I'll go option D. I'll go Animo for a service fee of 120K.
Yeah, okay.
I think Animo, juice in the bank. I think we'll be outperforming all of these.
Yeah, okay. A stud career is probably good because it's just free money, just sitting on the back of putting away some nice fillies.
So if we go back to it, Gig, Amelia's, and who was the other one? I Wish I Win.
Yeah. Which one would you?
I think out of the three of them, in terms of who's going to be winning the most prize money, will be Giga Kick.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to go with you with Giga Kick. I loved his second against I Wish I Win in the TJ. I don't think conditions were suited to that horse. So if it was on a better ground, I don't know if I Wish I Win could beat Giga Kick. Listening to Willow get off the horse, and I've never heard him use these sort of words. He said he had to work harder on his portable horse to get into training than ride Giga Kick. He said it was that easy. Like he didn't ask it to do much. And that's what, after the race, I was like, oh shit, this is a, serious horse. Even though we knew it, but it was good for him to back that up. And shit, that was a big win on Saturday.
It was, as Willow said, effortless.
Yeah. No disrespect to I Wish I Win or Amelia's Jewel. Like, they're going to be some great horses, but Amelia's Jewel's beaten Cascadian and, well, should have won the Quokka on Saturday. If Paddy Carberry decided to get into the race any earlier, that's another story on Paddy Carberry. But if they change jockeys with Amelia's Jewel, put a senior rider on, it'll be winning some big races, I hope.
How far past the post was Carberry riding Amelia's Jewel?
Oh, I think he might have been riding it into the lake out the back because he knew he fucked it up that bad. And the race before, I live for free or something, the favourite in the previous race, mentioned it around the grounds and did the same thing. Sat last, snicked it, waited till they straightened up before he got into its work. And it's like, mate, get on someone's bum 3 wide, blend into the race, wins by 2 or 3. But that's what you get in Perth, I guess. You don't get sweet rides.
Yeah.
But 3 good horses. Looking forward to seeing them in the spring. Amelia's Jewel, they don't know if it'll go to the Golden Eagle now. Ooh. Some talk to the Cox Plate. So, geez, I'm bloody excited. If they go to the Cox Plate, I'll be looking forward to it because they knocked back the Everest slot already.
Oh, interesting.
So, big news. Knocking back an Everest slot.
Okay.
So we're still a chance.
Mate, this year's Cox Plate could shape up to be a very, very good field. Yeah, I'm looking to get on Cascadian already because Animo's not going to be there, so I don't think James Cummings can have a horse that he can be scared of. So that's just my thoughts. But we'll move on. Track stats this week. Obviously, Hawksbury, there's talk it's going to be around the heavy range, so watch for the rain. I think it's coming Friday. Stay tuned to it. Listen in for Saturday morning track report. That's your key. If it is a heavy, they reckon 3 to 6 in the lanes will be the perfect spot, middle to outside barriers, and just up on speed.
Mornington, very unique track this. It's almost like the Valley, I reckon, in some ways. Just if you don't know it and you haven't been there, standing at the bottom of the home straight, it's a massive climb to the winning post. So you'll see a lot of horses along the side really getting into their work. And as soon as they hit that hill, they're gone. They're just cooked. So look for horses close to the rail, up on speed. It's a real tight turning track. You don't want to be caught wide unless the inside's off. But I'll be looking for horses up on speed and close to the rail. Rail is true, soft 6. I can see this improving to a good 4. So, yeah, nice weather tomorrow, Friday, and early Saturday. So, yeah, stay tuned, punters, trial trackers. I've got one here. It's in the 2-year-old race. Race 1, number 2, Rovno Amber. I probably butchered it like always, but this horse had 3 jump outs since February 1st. Really like the most recent one at Mornington on the inner track. Was wide, and I thought it did it quite easy. The time, I thought it was good considering it was a heavy 8 and how easy it did it. Now, comparing times in the other jump outs over 700 metres at Mornington that day, Bay 13 was an earlier jump out and went 0.2 seconds quicker than Rovno Amber. And if you don't know, Bay 13 ran a Group 3 placing in the sprint. So to go 2.2 quicker than us, I think that's a good little what would you call it? Little form line? Guide. That's it. That's what I was looking for. Thank you. And when I looked at the pricing, $5. Wow. I'm happy to have something on that at $5 in a very, very weaker 2-year-old race. So that's Mornington, race 1, number 2, Rovno Amber. Matty, you might as well kick things off for Hawksbury Race 7, the Hawksbury Guineas over 1,400 metres.
Yes, mate. Now, tried to find something a little bit earlier where the track may not be as affected. Some big fields, some 2-year-old races, some midways and so forth, which I don't generally like betting into. So we're going to be going with the Hawksbury Guineas over 1,400 metres. So, William, if you've got the odds there, I'll just chat through a few of these that I do like.
Yeah, I do. Your favourite is the Fortune Teller, number 1, $4. And Hawaii 5 $6. Ratzita $6. Coit $7.50. Atmosphere, plenty here today, $8.50. 3 Hell I Am $15. You can have $16. The rest.
Very good, thank you, mate. Just talk about 2 at the top, the Fortune Teller and Cote. Now, the Fortune Teller favourite in this field, and you got to take 420, which I won't be taking with the Fortune Teller. Look, I think it's been running well. I think the reason we're getting that is due to its last start win, which was a solid win. Now, if it wasn't winning that race, I believe you'd be getting about $8. Now, again, it did win. It won by kind of half a head, a neck, but I don't necessarily know whether that's the form I'd be wanting to carry into this race and accepting 420. Winning chance, absolutely, but I won't be taking the 420 on the Fortune Teller. Cote, look, I think it's already had its grand finals, and this is a secondary thought. I do like the horse. I think it probably needs to go out for a spell and come back in 3 to 4 months, and I think it'll be fine in a race to win. Unfortunately, this preparation, it just really hasn't found a race that it's been able to dominate like it did during the spring last year. So it's been a bit of a disappointing preparation for Cote. But the couple that I did want to talk about, Rosita. Now, I can definitely see how this horse is favourite. Chris Lees. Now, Chris Lees, after the race, wasn't surprised that this horse won at double figures. And that was back on, I think it was about the 8th of April. So Rosita, I can definitely see how it's favourite, and I can see the horse, if it produces the same as what it did back on the 8th of April, beating a field like this. It was on a heavy 8, performance was quite good in terms of sitting midfield, which is where I believe it's going to be sitting within this race from barrier number 5. Dylan Gibbons will be able to do what he likes, get the cover he needs, and then pull out at the right time, which he can do at Hawksbury. So I can definitely see how Reseda is favourite. But the one I've got on top is the Gay Waterhouse horse with Nash on board, Hawaii 5-0. Now, when I look through these type of races, I guess these 3-year-olds within the Guineas field here, I always like to look for a bit of a pattern and a bit of a story. If you go back and have a look at this horse since its start, won its first start maiden, then had a couple of placings, and then moved from Freeman across to Waterhouse and Bott, and has had one start. That one start was 29 days ago, ran second, and probably should have been winning that race at Kensington. Watched the clock, just flashed past it on the outside, and I don't think Nash actually knew it was there until it got past him. And he got back into his work as he saw the horse coming past, but it was a little bit too late. Over 1,400 metres, this is the race that I believe Bott and Waterhouse have been setting, Hawaii High 5-4. So I think at that 6,650 mark, Hawaii 5-0 is the horse that I'm going to be on here. I think it's definitely going to be in the placings, and I think it is going to be a winning chance. Worm, how did you find this race?
A very, very hard race. Geez, you got to be, if you like the fortune teller, geez, you got to have liked his last win on that heavy track in Sydney. It pissed him, I thought. But just, yeah, you always say, did it take a lot out of it? I know he's going back on a heavy, but yeah, I don't know. He's a good horse, and probably it's his right race to win again, but I don't know. It just...
Look, the one thing I didn't mention about the fortune teller, which I should have, was that was over 1,600. Dropping back from 16 to 1,400 metres, not a big fan of. I know probably shouldn't be questioning Kieran Maher and Dave Eustace, but not a big fan when they're dropping back like that.
You're not the owner of Princess Jenny, are you?
I'll give him a call.
No, it's a text message. The only thing I'll say about Hawaii 5-0, if it is a heavy track, being out of I'm Invincible, it might not run.
Yep.
So that's the only downer I'll put on that tip. Is that. But if it's in that soft range, I'm going to be with you. But the one I'm going to be with here, and if you're a regular listener, you'll probably just switch off, throw your head back and go, for fuck's sake, not again. But I am. Race 7, number 10, A Lot More Love. As I said, I know I tipped him first and second up, and he did look a little bit disappointing, but I feel this horse is a wet tracker. Now, these runs in this prep have all been on good tracks. He's done well, but without threatening. But this is where I think this is where we'll find the edge here. 3 starts on a heavy for 2 placings and a third, and then 2 starts on a soft 7 for 2 wins. I know it's a very hard race, but at $18 and from barrier 6, it's just going to be in that perfect spot. If it doesn't go back to last and it's up midfield, I think we can have a crack here at $18. Just really small to win, something in the place. But it is my last chance. I'll never tip it again, but this is my absolute last chance of this horse. I'll probably have to have a little chat to him on the text message and just say, hey, today's the day. But yeah, bloody tough race. I don't know. If I keep talking, I'll bloody tip all the horses by the end of the show. Any last thoughts, Matty?
No more last thoughts. As I said, it's a pretty tough card up at Hawkesbury this weekend, and I think we are going to just need to see what the track's doing. I'm probably forecasting it to be kind of a soft 7, and if it is, I'm quite happy to stick with Hawaii 5-0.
Yeah, I like it, mate. It's just going to be in that nice spot. If it can stay out of that heavy, we'll be cooking with gas. Race 7, I'm going to go at Mornington, the old Moonee Valley of the country, I like to call it. And we'll get the odds up while I quickly get it going. And our favourite here is the Jigsaw Puzzle. Probably it's top odds at 3s, but a lot of places are 250, 270. So it's a bit mixed here. Number 5, She's All Class, 480. 4 Current, $7. Turk Warrior from Tassie, $9.50. On an option, $12. Bless Her, $12. Session Roads, $14. The Inferno, $17. Geez, if you said that 12 months ago, you would have been just laughing. And the Rank Outsider is at $23. Now, the speed map I have, we know what Jigsaw is going to do. We spoke about it when it last run. It'll just fire out of the barriers from the outside barrier, and it wants to find that rail. So I believe they'll do it again. There's no need to change the tactics, basically, from what I feel. So they'll go straight to the rail. Turk Warrior, I think he'll use Jigsaw to come across as much as they can. So they will, try and push us, I reckon, to go a bit quicker. But I think our Jigsaw's gate speed will be a lot quicker than Turk Warriors. Bless Her from 2, Willow on board. I think they kick up and sit in a real handy spot. Sessions Road, barrier 6, they can probably be a little more positive, but they normally like to be a bit more back. Not an option from 1. I've got him midfield, but I think worst case he could be worse than midfield, but they can really, I think they should use it. I'm a big fan of barrier 1 and using it, not sitting in no man's land. And She's All Class, Karen and Inferno, they're back markers, so they're going to be out the back in a pretty good race here. With the way I've said the track will play and the way I've got the speed map, I think we've just got to stick with Jigsaw here. I know it's had 27 days off since the Group 1 last start, but just put a line through it because we knew what was going to happen in that race. We knew it was going to go quick. We knew it was going to get cut up. So not ideal, but his 4 previous runs before that were wins. And they were all impressive. So brings that form to this. I think $3 is huge overs, and that $2.50 that a lot of places got a mark is probably the right price. This horse can easily find the rail, and if it finds that rail, I don't think anyone annoys it. I think it can do whatever it wants up front, whatever tempo suits it. D Moore, he knows the horse. He knows what to do. So he can go his own tempo, have his own picnic up in front. The only concern is how this horse has recovered from that William Reid. Now, the important thing I reckon out of this race will be the yard comments. Jump on .com, use the red brand, the orange brand that have the yard comments on those horses 4 or 5 minutes before the race and listen to them. So if you're going to have a crack, make sure you listen to them, because if you don't, you could really do your dough, especially if they say it hasn't come up. But I think they do. I don't think they'd be pushing on if it wasn't going any good. So I'm happy to be with Jigsaw. Bless Her. As I said, from the barrier, they're going to be really good. I think it'll improve. I know it's second up. It's not my sort of thing, but Willow goes on board, inside draw. Last start, they had an outside barrier, had to go back to last. This horse was in the top 10 of the meetings. Section was home from the 8-6-4 200 home. So I just feel if he can put it in a good spot at $12, it might run a real cheeky race. And I know, Matty, you've got a real soft spot for this horse. Maybe they should have renamed this race after you, because the next horse I'm going to talk about is another one you've had a soft spot for. She's All Class. Very hard horse to assess here. And you know what? You're probably not going to get any info like I'm going to give here. I know I'm blowing my own trumpet, but remember, it won a race last start at the Moonee Valley. That was the race that had the fall with T.O. Nugent in. So it was hard to assess the replay because it's been cut off. Now, I was on track, and I remember watching it 10 times, and I'm actually convinced that this horse wouldn't have won the race if there wasn't a fall, because all the main contenders were gone. That left in the boat out in front, and it had something to chase. Now, that's just my opinion. Some people might not agree. Now, it's gone back to the jump out since and been good. I think it was a foggy day, so it was hard to assess, but I think it went well enough. Now, if you go back to August with this horse, it has form around Chain of Lightning, Zapateo, Agentia, and Exolita. Now, that form is winning form. But that was back in August. Has it come anywhere back near like it was in August? That's the question we're going to find out. Now, if the horse didn't win, which I don't think it should have last start, we shouldn't be getting $4.80. We should be getting around $7. That's just my opinion. As I said, hard horse to assess. How do you assess a fallen race when I don't think it should have won out of that race? If you get $7, I think we can play. But at $4.80, I'm not getting involved one iota. Matty, your thoughts?
Yeah, mate. Well, one thing I did pick up, and you mentioned it within your track stats, is it is a very different track, Mornington. There's only 3 of these horses that have ever had a start at Mornington. So Belzile has had 1 start, no placings. Bless Her, 1 start back when it was a maiden. Bless Her back when it was a maiden, ran 4th. The other one, not an option. Now it actually won at the track, and it kind of sat around at that 4th, 5th position, and I think it's going to sit in a similar position here. So out of the horses within this field, no one else has actually raced at the track before. A lot of them are trialled here, so they do know the track. But not an option from barrier number 1. As you said, I hope Paddy Maloney actually uses that gate, and he is actually quite aggressive, sits 4th, 5th. And look, I think at $12 is definitely a chance. It's not a very deep field, this one. So I can see how you've landed on Jigsaw. I think Jigsaw definitely gets to the lead quite comfortably from there. Dictates terms, as long as it does go up the rise. In the straight, I think it's going to be exceptionally hard to beat. So, yeah, I can see how you've landed on Jigsaw in this race. And, yeah, I think it'd be a good bet.
Yeah, and not an option. It's 1,400 back to 1,200. Real weird move for me, that is. And, that's why I couldn't mention it or put it in the numbers. Because I don't like that. As you said with the other horse as well back in Sydney. It's not ideal.
It's not.
2 points you led me to remember. Mornington track stats, leaders win at 50%, lanes 1 to 3 at 38%. So there's your numbers there. Also, keep an eye on the trainers that train out of Mornington. Give them an extra push. If you're thinking of putting them in your quaddie and you see they're trained on the track, put them in, because this is where they target. It's their little carnival. So they go well at the track when they race at Mornington. So just keep an eye on that. Little gems that you won't hear anywhere else, I don't reckon.
No, yeah. And on not an option, been up since January as well. Not ideal.
No. So they're the 2 races we've dissected, guys. WhatsApp and subscribing to our channel, guys. Please, if you've given us a go first time, please subscribe to our channel from YouTube and any podcast platform. They drop Thursday night. If you're a podcast listener, thank you. They come a lot earlier than the YouTube just due to uploading. So please, if you want to, please subscribe, share it with your friends. Please retweet or like on whatever social platforms we put them on. If you want to join WhatsApp, I'll put it down the bottom by email if you want to join, or get in touch with us with any social DM us. We'll put you straight through. It's a great community. It's all free. You don't have to pay a cent to join, unlike other ones where you're paying $30 a month to join their chat group. Go.
How did the Geelong races go on Tuesday?
That was a interesting day, I reckon, Matty.
Big call out to one of the community members. They know who they are, but put a tip out there. I think it was on a Saturday for Tuesday racing in Geelong.
Yep.
It was Lady Canuck.
Yes.
Paying $33. So big call out to that particular punter. And then shared with us after the race what they'd malted it into, which was plenty of winners from Saturday.
Yeah, I reckon he might be buying a new Tesla by the end of the day. I think he might have been. But no, then that's what it's about. You share your thoughts.
That's
It
right.
was 33s into 7s. Yes, deductions played a part, but that's just him sharing his thoughts. It was buyer beware. That's what we say when you post them, buyer beware. But yeah, we were just so grateful that he shared it. A lot of people got amongst it. And yeah, it was happy days on Tuesday, I think it was. And
Tuesday.
even
Yes.
it got me a bit of a yell in the office when I turned it on. And
I completely forgot about it. However, I was lucky to just have one of those bonus bets from Saturday on it. So yeah, watched the replay and wow, it would have been a very, very good shout.
I've never sat in an office so quietly, just like giving it the little whips, kick, 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 kick. And then when it won, I had to leave the office to give it a little yell, so I didn't. No one knew what was going on.
I don't think this particular punter would have been so quiet watching it.
No, there's a word going around. There was a lot of noise made, but that's what it's about, guys. Sharing your thoughts. Matty and I are sharing our thoughts, but more importantly, people in there sharing theirs. You don't have to. You can just take the ride that we go on, and yeah, it's a bloody good ride that we're going on at the moment. We're striking quite well. Everyone's putting up bets. Someone's put up bets for the Live Golf. Keno that was on the other day. He's over there. He's probably going to be our Whispers podcast reporter for the 3 days. But he's tipping Koepka, Reed, and Leishman. So they're the three for Live Golf. If you like one of those three, get on board. But yeah, that's the beauty of it. I won't talk more because it's I won't shut up about it because it's bloody good to get around, I think. That's just my thoughts. Around the grounds, Matty, where are you going with yours?
Right, let's go to the Mornington Cup. I haven't heard your thoughts on this. And there's a horse in this particular race that I've followed for quite a long time. And I think it comes to this particular race quite well suited. Down from Sydney, Benno. Now, Benno raced in the Caulfield Cup last year. So I don't think it actually needs to win this race to get entry. Unless the Caulfield Cup's going to be an unbelievable field, it may need the points. But yeah, look, with Craig Williams on board, which I think is a super, super tick, barrier number 11 is going to be a little bit tight, but this horse generally goes back. So I'm quite comfortable that Benno is going to find a slot with Willow on board. At $15, I think this is an enormous top 5 chance. If you kind of have a look at the progress through this preparation that it's had, kind of started off around about that 1,600 metres through to 2,000, had a race, was it on the 1st of April? It might have been on a heavy track up in Sydney, and I think it was top 5, might have been 6th there. And it's just been very, very consistent without getting a whole lot of attention. So, look, it's a difficult race, especially with the horses coming down from Sydney, and then you've got horses coming from the Australian Cup and so forth. So the form lines are a little bit difficult to assess, but Benno at $15, I'm quite comfortable to be putting that forward as a very good top 5 chance. How did you see this particular race?
Mate, this is a cracking race. I know it doesn't have superstars, but this is what you want to see for free ticket into the Caulfield Cup. A strong field. Yes, there's some brick walls that will be in the race that might cause some trouble, but just going quickly through them, like Vow and Declare was huge in the Tancred. I think it should have won if it had any luck. It was squeezed at the wrong moment at about the 150-metre mark. Now, I know Right You Are's beaten it up a couple of times, and so you got to go, if you like Vow and Declare, you got to like Right You Are, but Right You Are is going to 2,400 the first time. Barrier 10, if they can slot in, they're a big, big chance. So it's just if they're going to run out 2,400 as the Rabbitohs score a last-minute try to beat the Panthers. Thank you. That's fantastic. Non-conformance was good first up. Australia Cup second up wasn't ideal, went a bit plain, but he's run 2 crackers in a Caulfield Cup. So respect. Barrier 1, going to be on the inside. If they can use it and sit behind the leaders, it can definitely win. He's a shocker. We know what it's been doing around the Animo form. That's world class, or Australia class. 2 lengths off Dubai Honour in that race. 2 lengths off Cascadian in the Australian Cup. So he's a shocker as a champ, but he's got a wide barrier. They're going to have to go to last. You know my thoughts on Right You Are. Fancy Man, Ollie gave it an absolute stinker of a ride. Some reason slotted in behind Right You Are, and then along the side at Sandown took off to go outside the leader. Don't know why he did that. Doesn't make sense in my eyes. Might have over-raced. Benno, as you said, Matty, big, but it got copped a stinker in the Caulfield Cup in October. So if you've taken the $11 in the Caulfield Cup, you've got to take this again in the Mornington Cup. And then the other one, a bit of odds here, Port Phillip. Now, ex-Lloyd Williams horse, this horse finished 0.2 behind High Emotion in the Bendigo Cup. I know it was a heavy 8, and that does suit the horse. Not going to get those conditions, but we know how well High Emotion went in the Melbourne Cup. Yarra Valley was a very weak addition, but at $19, it's also going to be a chance if they probably roll forward. That's my... I got no tip. I just don't know who can win. There's several chances, mate.
Absolutely. As I said, that's why I think Benno definitely top 5 chance, and might just be same race multi. Try and find a couple of things to include it in with.
Yeah. That's it for you?
No, we'll go one more.
Yep.
Now, look, again, this is by Beware. We're going in the last race up in Sydney, so let's just see how the track is. But this is a horse, again, from the Chris Lees stable, Spangler. Now, Chris Lees, back on the 8th of April, when Rosita won, after the race said, I will not be surprised, and I'm very confident that Spangler is going to win in 2 races' time. Comes out at $12 and absolutely brains them with J-Mac on board.
Yeah.
Now, this isn't so much of a tougher test. I think the conditions are going to be very average, and that's why $6 may be a little short. So I think this is one that definitely include into your quaddies. But big field. It's also nominated for tomorrow at Tamworth. I think they scratched that because it has got a wide gate in a big field. I think they are going to go to Saturday, Spangler, race 10, around about that $6 mark at the moment. Quite confident it'll be, again, around the mark for a top 5 finish. But again, let's just see how the track's going. If it's an absolute bog, it might be one to steer clear of. But look, if you haven't seen it, go back and have a look at the way it won its last start. It was J-Mac at about the 200-metre mark, just put the blinkers on and just came out and just went bang. It was like a little turbo nitro injection, just off we go. J-Mac was just holding on for dear life. But no, it was a good little watch, that one. But I think it can run a good race again on the weekend.
Beautiful.
Grounds?
Yeah, if you listen to this before Friday lunchtime, you're in for a pearler here, because we're going to go to Wodonga on the Friday. Race 4, number 8, Starbury. Bury. We're on this horse, start 1, from its jump out, and it went to the Valley, and for some reason, Blake Shim went back on it. Don't know why. But in that race, it was a slow tempo, ran the 3rd fastest 200 metres of the meeting off a slow tempo, as I said. So there was something positive out of a shit ride. So that was good. Back to the jump outs. Went well again. Barrier 3, Reese McLeod on board. Not ideal, but he will put this up there. And at $2.70, I think we're going to have a bit of a crack at this one. So that's Wodonga race 4, number 8, Starbury. And then we're going to go to the Friday night. Friday fill-ups, we'll call this. Cranbourne race 3, number 2, Paulson. Now, if you have time, go to .com. Have a look at the last start ride on this one. It was an absolute stinker. I thought babies put up shit in their nappies, but this jockey dead set put shit on this fucking ride. Sorry about my language, but it was a stinker. I had no money on it, but just watching the replay, oh my. Sat 5 wide at Mornington along that side where they try to build into it, and it just sat behind horses in last position. Taking him nowhere, did nothing to go get moving on it. could have peeled out and started to make a run for it, but the jockey didn't even try to do that to get this horse into the race. Won't be getting too far back in a small field here at Cranbourne. I like this horse coming into this, and feel $2.30 is a good price to get involved, because the form around this horse it's been in have been very good maidens. So that's race 3, number 2, Opal Sun. I reckon you're watching it now, Matty.
I've just found it and I was just popping it on. I just wanted to see that baby poo.
Oh, mate, it's a stinker. I don't know if it was. I should maybe be a bit too harsh on it. Maybe it was the instructions to hold him up as long as they could, because when he did get going, the race was over, and died on its run with 100 metres to go. I know it's going up 400 metres, but as I said, smaller field, consider a lot closer. Early money on it is a good sign, and I just think we can get involved. I don't like betting too much into maiden long distance races because they can throw up some yuck results, but no, I think better barrier, better jockey, ticks all the boxes to be winning Cranbourne race 3, number 2, Apolson.
Yeah, that race was a very fastly run race.
Yep. Has the jockey made a move yet?
Yeah, no. There it is.
It's that head on that you can see along the side, and he just sitting behind second last. It's whipping it like no tomorrow, and he hasn't moved on it. I don't know. I don't know. That's what you get, though. Multi-time. So 4-legger this week. We're growing in confidence now, so we've upped the ante, as we always do when we get a multi. I'm going to throw in Jigsaw the Place, because I think if it finds the rail, it'll be hard to get past. And I'm going to chuck in the Brisbane Lions at $1.30 to win to beat the GWS Giants. I don't think they're much chop. And Brisbane Lions are humming, I think. And I think, $1.30 is quite silly. Matty, what are you chucking in?
Confident that Hawaii 5-0 will be running the place. So you're happy to put Hawaii 5-0 in for the place. And the other one is Benno. Now, I'd prefer to be putting this in for top 5, but we'll put it in for a place. And that definitely will boost the value for this multi.
Beautiful. So that comes to $18.60. So we'll say $18. Jigsaw the Place, Brisbane Lions to win. Benno the Place, Hawaii 5-0 the place. We're reaching for the stars. Now, more importantly, we're going for 3 in a row, Matty. Pineapple of the week. Where are we going? Are we going Kite and Maidens?
No, we're going to keep it. I'm going to steer clear of what may be a heavy track up at Hawksbury. And we're going to keep it down at Mornington. Now, the one race that stood out for me and clearly stood out for you as well was race number 7. And I've got Jigsaw well and truly on top.
Wow.
Now, I don't know whether you read my notes or I read your notes, but as soon as you said you're previewing race 7, I thought, oh, fuck, I hope you're tipping the same horse as me. You were, and you'd seen the race very similar to how I think it's going to pan out. I don't think that there's a whole lot of pace in the race. I think Jigsaw has got enough speed to get across early, and from there is going to be exceptionally hard to pass. Now, really, there's only 2 ways I see this horse being beat, and that's if it hasn't come back as well as what we're expecting. I've ridden off that Group 1 at the Valley, where it was just an absolute roll along up front, but here I can't see the same pressure up front. So Jigsaw for me will fall on the fence, and I find it very hard to see anything passing it. So it will be the Pineapple this week, Worm.
Good, you didn't mention the M word. I was worried you were heading down that path. Just ease up. It's a bad word.
No, absolutely. I will mention an M word. I'm not as confident as what I was with Militarise, and I'm definitely not as confident as what I was with Prowess. But I think Jigsaw will be getting it done this weekend.
Yeah, it's if you're a first-time watcher, guys, we do our form quite differently, and when we align, it's quite scary. And anyone that has watched before I reckon it's a pretty goddamn good strike rate we go at when we align. Any last thoughts, Matty?
No, just look, be careful this weekend. There are a lot of donkeys racing around. A lot of horses resuming as well. So, look, it may be a weekend to observe some races, but also it might be a weekend just to dial back the units that you usually spend.
Yeah, just save them for Tuesday, Anzac Day with White Marlin.
Absolutely. He did let me go there.
Hey?
He said, I have to stay to this weekend.
No, so yeah, I've got no last thoughts. We'll be back next Thursday for another meeting, obviously somewhere in Victoria, somewhere in Sydney, and obviously things heating up in Adelaide. Hopefully you fill your pockets up. More importantly, I hope we fill your pockets up. Please gamble responsibly, guys. It's very important that we do, because it's, it can get out of hand quite quickly if you don't have control on what you do. So please gamble responsibly. Matty, have a great weekend. Hopefully we go 3 from 3 and you'll probably go missing again if it does get up.
Fingers crossed, mate.
Fingers crossed. Thank you, everyone. Have a great weekend and speak to you next Thursday.